Hey, that's Lab Rats again. Are you also a huge fan of videos of these crackling balls? So are we. So today we're finding out how to make one yourself. So keep watching if you're interested. Today we're trying out different versions of how you can make them just on your own. So keep on watching. This popular type of ASMR is called clay cracking, and it's so satisfying to watch and touch it. All we'll need is some soft clay and nail polish, and you're good to go. The type of clay that we're using is called soft clay, and we're also going to find out what kind of clay is the best for these little cracking ASMR videos. So this kind of clay is very light and elastic. You cannot keep it outside of its package because it's gonna dry out pretty quick. From this clay you can make little different shapes and forms, and it does hold the shape pretty well. You might also know it because it is used as one of the ingredients for butter slimes. But for our experiment, the shape we're choosing is just little balls, little spheres, if you may. And okay, we may make one heart. You know, just for funsies. We have noticed that this kind of soft clay is being sold in different colors, but we've decided to get the white one and use full coloring instead to make all the different colors we'll ever want. It's quite easy, fast, and more creative. So all you gotta do is just to add some drops of food coloring in it and mix it well together. And there you go. We've chosen the red and the blue food colorings. And one of the balls we decided to make a mix, like some kind of marble ball, and to mix both of those colors, and it ended up looking somewhat resembling the earth, but you know, that's pushing it. So the shapes and balls are ready. In order to make the painting process easier, you should put toothpicks inside of each one of the balls, or hearts, or whichever shapes you decide to use. So what do we do now? We cover it up completely with the first layer of nail polish. As you can see, there are little bubbles and clumps in the nail polish, and it is because of the clay, and we are hoping that after applying the second layer it will be all smooth and covered. So the key part here is to cover the balls completely, because otherwise the clay will lose its elasticity if it's not covered completely. The next step is to dry completely the first layer of the nail polish. The best way to do it is to poke through a little sponge, or maybe even a cardboard or whatever you have in your house, so the balls don't really touch anything else except the toothpick, and they will dry out evenly. So here's the close-up, and you do really see those little particles of clay under the nail polish. But don't worry, after the second layer they'll be all gone. We are also trying out a different type of clay. It's quite porous and elastic as the previous one, but it's from a different brand. So let's see how that one reacts. This clay is different because when you form them into a shape, this time it's a ball, you don't really see these little particles that are so annoying under the nail polish. So perhaps this brand is better. So we're repeating the steps. We put the ball on the toothpick and we cover it completely with nail polish. Another question we've had is, what's going to happen if we use very light Play-Doh instead of clay? So we decided to try it out. Play-Doh is quite similar to clay, but it's more tangy and elastic. So we're forming the shapes again, and we're putting them on the toothpicks. As you can see, Play-Doh also doesn't have these little annoying particles, and it will be easier to cover it up with the nail polish. So what's left is to dry the first layer. But that's not the only question that we've got. What would happen if we use, instead of nail polish, wood furniture lacquer? Let's see. So we form a little ball and then we dip it into the lacquer. Let the lacquer drip off of it a bit and then stick it into the surface of your choice to dry. as we thought that the previous clay lacquer situation was a bit too boring for us, we decided to experiment and add a little bit of food coloring to the next ball. So we also decided to try out the second clay with a wood lacquer. Maybe it will behave differently. We also would color it up with some food coloring to make sure we don't confuse the balls. So we've also decided to check out what would happen if we use the Play-Doh and the wooden lacquer together. It will give us the best result ever. Let's see! So we waited a day and the first layer of nail polish has dried completely, and it was the time to put the next layer. So as you can see, the balls made from the first type of clay still have these particles, these annoying little particles, even visible under the second layer of nail polish. And that does not satisfy us. So when you use nail polish, it can have really strong smell. So we strongly advise you to open some windows, and if you feel lightheaded, go for a walk. Usually balls get covered up by multiple layers of nail polish, but this time we're just gonna try it out. What will happen if you squish one with just one layer of nail polish on? The result is quite satisfying. The first layer of nail polish on the Play-Doh balls have already dried out, so you gotta put the second layer on. So these balls are covered in wooden lacquer. So what we do next is that we cover them up with the wood lacquer again and we leave them to dry. And another warning goes to the wooden lacquer. It has pretty strong smell, so you do have to keep those windows wide open. After a few hours, the second layer dried up, so it's time to put the third layer on, and that's going to be the last one. You can put on more, but we've decided to stop right there because we feel like that would be enough for that satisfying crackling sound that everybody loves them for. Same goes to the wooden lacquer balls. They also get a third layer and a drying rack. So that's kind of how it looks. After a couple of more days, the nail lacquer is completely dry, and that's the result we're looking for. Check this out, how the light Play-Doh balls covered with wooden lacquer have slid down the toothpick. I guess they were just too heavy for it, and the gravity worked against them. So with no further ado, we're gonna see how crackle balls made from the first type of clay are gonna crackle. Crackle up! Buttercup, let's check this out. Now goes the turn for the Little Monster second type of clay. And next goes the light Play-Doh. Whoa! So next go the balls covered in wooden lacquer, and the first up is the first type of clay that was kind of chunky. The second kind of clay, the one that is with the monster on its packaging. Little light Play-Doh. It seems like all experiments today were very successful. Too bad we can't use that clay anymore. It's completely soaked of the smell of the lacquer and it little bits. So you know the drill. If you love this video, please like it. It really helps the channel. And if you want to see more, subscribe. And maybe even consider sharing with friends if they also are huge fans of ASMR and crackly balls. See you again!